Welcome to Soccer Gaming and welcome back to the channel where you can find helpful guides, tips and tricks, tutorials, even some franchise rebuild on this channel as well. But in today's episode, we are actually going to be looking at a long-term investment as far as investing in cards, hoping that they go up in value later and then basically capitalizing on them when they go up to diamond or whatever. So I'm going to break down 5 hitters and 5 pitchers that I think are going to be good long-term investments in MLB 23. So if you'd like to watch that, stick around. So I wanted to kind of make a video of long-term investments. Like last year, Devers paid out handsomely. If you invested in him when I told you to, you made a lot of stubs, because I know I made a lot of stubs when I was investing in him at like 400 stubs and then at like 1,000 stubs. He ended up going for like 5K stubs because he ended up hitting diamond. And so I kind of wanted to give you guys players that I think are either going to be hitting diamond or possibly even diamond players currently that I think are going to skyrocket in value. So for example, if I think like a Jacob deGrom is going to be a card that ends up hitting 250 like Trout here, if I think that, then he might be in this video. So the first guy I think you should go out and get and invest in, again, same guy as last year, is Devers. He is so good and so worth the investment. I know last year I made millions and millions of stubs off of selling this Devers card, because I think at some point I had like 560 Devers cards and I ended up selling all of them. So definitely a good investment in Devers, and you can see he's currently at an 81. Last year he hit diamond and I believe stayed in diamond until the end of the season, and this year he's kind of picked up right where he left off. He's 18 of 66, 14 runs scored, 7 home runs, 16 RBIs, and a 273 average currently on the year. You see the upgrade with inside edge puts him in at 84. I think he either hits diamond when this roster update comes out, or maybe later on he hits diamond, but that instantly makes him worth 5K as soon as he hits diamond, which I believe he will. I think he'll hit diamond. So I'm telling you now, I told you last year, if you listened to me, you made a ton of stubs. I'm telling you now, for 1,300 stubs, invest as much as you want to or can in Raphael Devers, because he will eventually end up going diamond and paying off very handsomely at least 5,000 stubs. The next guy I'm telling you to go out and invest in is already a diamond, but you can see the value already. He's already jumped from an 86 to an 89 as far as inside edge goes, and inside edge gives you a little bit of like look into what he could possibly go up to, and I fully expect Jordan Alvarez to hit 90s this year. Currently at 10K, already kind of like creeping up there when it comes to marketplace. You saw him hit high early in the season, drop down a little bit low, but I think this is probably as low as you could possibly get for him at 10K. Through the start of the season, 15 to 55, 11 runs scored, 4 home runs, 20 RBIs, and a 273 average. And you know that home run power is there. You know that home run number from 4 is going to be going up, which means that this card is going to be getting better and better and better as the season goes. So invest in him now, even though he is a diamond already. Invest in him because I think he goes up to at least the 90s range at the end of the season, which would definitely put him around the 20-30K mark, which if you're looking for investment and to sell off, you're going to be making like 15,000 stubs off of each one of these cards. The next guy I'm telling you to invest in is kind of one of those like long shot type of things, but I think this is a card that could possibly really upgrade, and I don't necessarily think he might hit diamond, but currently at 500 stubs, I think he at least gets close to diamond, maybe like an 83 level, and at that level you're looking at like what, 3,000, 4,000 stubs to sell off. So right there you're making like 2,500, 3,000 stubs off of each of these flips. And Arozarena has kind of proven that he can do it through the beginning of the season. He's 19 of 62, 11 runs scored, 3 home runs, 17 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, and a 306 average. If he can keep that going throughout the year, he's definitely going to be in the 80s most of the season. So he's definitely going to be getting that worth back. So at 500 stubs, go out and invest invest in him now. You see him kind of drop down. He was already 1,000 once. I think he'll definitely hit that again very soon. The next guy I'm telling you to go out and invest in is going to be Richmond. I'll be honest with you guys, he hits gold and he hits it very soon. So you're looking at his hitting over there in the right where it is bronze, and if he's getting upgraded, it's going to be his hitting. So that tells me that if his hitting goes up, that means his overall level of 83 is going to go up, which tells me that he only has 2 overall levels to hitting diamond. I think he either hits diamond this next roster update or definitely throughout the season. He's definitely a guy you want to invest in now. At 3,100, I think he ends up going for at least 5,000 once the roster update hits, and then continuing through the season, I could see him get up into the 90s where you're looking at 25, 30,000 stubs for a 90 overall diamond. So invest in him now, because if you can invest 3,000 stubs into him now and get 30,000 later, you're looking at about a 25,000 stub increase just from one card. So a very, very good investment through the beginning of the season. He's 21-61, 10 runs scored, 4 home runs, 13 RBIs, and hitting a 344 average. You know he could do it. He's done it pretty much all the rest of last year and the beginning of this year. Definitely a good investment, and kind of invest in him now while he's kind of trickling down. I think he goes up from here. I think he instantly hits 5K, 6K when the roster update hits. The next guy I'm telling you to go out and invest in, and the reason I'm telling you to do it now, is Austin Riley has kind of the ability to be able to hit up to like a 92, 93, which again is like about 40,000 stubs off of that. Now, I know he's kind of expensive now at 7,000-ish stubs if you want to buy him, but his value is kind of going down a little bit, but his numbers are staying up through the beginning of the season. 20-63, 12 runs scored, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs, and a 317 average, and there's a lot there that tells me that he's going to keep doing that and even go up, which tells me if you're investing in him, I know he's already a diamond, but at 6,000, 7,000 stubs, that's a low diamond price to pay, especially if he can hit up into the 92, 93s, where he instantly becomes 40,000 stubs. You're looking at a huge 20, 30,000 stub profit here with Austin Riley. I think he ends up staying diamond all year and continues to go up from here, so invest in him now. And then I wanted to give you kind of a little bonus, and I think it's going to be Vladimir Guerrero Jr. as your bonus. Invest in him now. He's going to go diamond. Probably the next roster update, he goes diamond. You can see he jumps from an 84 to an 87 currently with Inside Edge, which tells me that if he gets an upgrade, he's looking probably 86, 87 as the upgrade. You see his price very low, 3,500 for him right now. If he goes diamond, he's instantly worth 5,000, which you're looking for about 1,000 profit just off that. And this is definitely a card that you can go out and buy 100 of and not worry about like getting stuck with the investment. You're definitely going to be able to flip him for 5,000 coming up with a new roster update. But definitely go out and get him through the season. He's hitting 24-66, 12 runs scored, 2 home runs, 8 RBIs, 1 stolen base, and a 364 average. You know that home run power will come back. Only 2 home runs currently. You know that number is going to continue to go up. So go out and invest in him now at 84, because he's probably the easiest 84 or easiest gold to go diamond with the new roster update. For sure going diamond. So go out and invest in him now for 3,500. Flip him for 5,000 if you want to hold on to him for even more. I think he ends up going 88 to 89 by the end of the season, and that's around the 15-20K stub mark. So you can make another 15,000 stubs if you want to hold on to him later in the season. So now we are on to the pitchers. I gave you an extra batter, and I'm going to give you an extra pitcher. But the first pitcher you should go out and get is going to be Dustin May, currently 193 stubs, which is absolutely nutty for a 78 guy that definitely goes gold very soon. You've seen what he could do. You see his price plummet, and the reason that it plummeted was because he got kind of nicked up a little bit, but he's played very, very well. He's pitched very well. We know what he can do. He is a guy that I think could possibly hit diamond by the end of the year. So I think he could jump from a 78 currently all the way up to at least an 85 throughout the season. So invest in him now while he's super cheap at 200 stubs. Through the beginning of the season, 24 innings pitched, 1 win, 13 strikeouts, 3.0 ERA, which again is just basically one little bad outing, and a 0.92 whip, which kind of tells you anything under a 1 whip tells you kind of that, you know, the batters are struggling to hit or walk off this guy. The ERA can kind of fluctuate based on, well, he got 1 good hit and it was a 3-run home run, then that's 3.0 ERA. So keep that in mind as you're looking at his stats, and he's super cheap. Basically, everyone kind of was like, oh, wow, what's going on? He must be bad, and selling him off. Now he's worth 200, and you can go out and invest in him because when he hits diamond, he's going to be at least worth 5,000, giving you about a 4,500 stub increase off of just one. At 193, you can go out and buy 100 of him and invest in him for the long term. But Dustin May, I think, ends up even going gold very soon with roster update. Next guy I'm telling you to go out and get is going to be AJ Minter. I believe you see the 5-star matchup right now, currently with the inside edge, giving him a 4 overall increase, sending him up to a diamond. I'm not 100% sure he hits diamond with this next roster update, but long-term investment, Minter, I believe, hits diamond sometime this year, and probably more towards quicker than later in the season. Currently 600 stubs. If you want to buy him and you're looking at an investment about 5,000 once he hits diamond, and that's instantly a 4,000 stub increase there. Throughout the season so far, he's got 9 innings pitched, 1 win, 4 saves, 8 strikeouts, a 2.0 ERA, and a 0.78 whip. He is a closer for the Braves, and the Braves are going to get a lot of closes this year. So make sure you're going out now and investing in him because he's definitely going to be worth it. Currently 600. He's going to be hitting about 5,000 once he hits diamond. Might actually hit diamond in this next roster update. And the next guy I'm telling you to go out and invest in is going to be Luis Castillo. I think maybe not this roster update. I wouldn't be surprised if he hits diamond in this roster update. The reason being, so far this season, 24 2/3 innings pitched, 2 wins, 26 strikeouts, a 0.73 ERA, and a 0.61 whip, which is amazing numbers there for the ERA and the whip for a starting pitcher. And he's currently 2,200. That's actually pretty cheap, especially since he's an 82. You see him jump up a little bit. If you could have got him a couple days ago, you would have been getting him for basically half the price. But go out and get him now because it's going to be the value now is half the price of what he's going to be when the roster update hits. I think he goes diamond. If not this roster update, if he continues to go where he's going, he's definitely going to be hitting diamond throughout the season. So go out and invest in him now because he's going to hit diamond this season. The next guy I'm telling you to go out and get is going to be Josh Hader. Go out and get him because he's probably going to be hitting a diamond next week or whenever the roster update comes out. Currently 3,400. You're going to be able to sell him for $5,000 as soon as he hits diamond. At an 84 and how well he's been pitching throughout the season so far, 7 innings pitched, 4 saves, 13 strikeouts, a 1.29 ERA, and a 0.86 whip. He's got the numbers to send him up to diamond. So go out and get him now. Sell him when he's at 5,000 stubs, or even hold on to him later on. I'm sure he's a guy who's going to hit about 88, 87 overall, which is going to be around the 12 to 15 to 20K mark. So make sure you go out and get him now because he's definitely going up, and he's definitely a good investment long term. The 5th guy I'm telling you to go out and get is probably the biggest guy I'm going to tell you to go out and get. You see that he's already an 87 diamond. Right now he's got that boost on him, and you're like, well, why would I invest in him? Well, the reason being he's only 13,000 right now, which is actually very, very low. And the way he's been pitching this year, being the best pitcher in the league, 28 innings pitched, 4 wins, 32 strikeouts, a 0.95 ERA, and a 0.74 whip. Those numbers put him up towards like the 95s, the 96s. And honestly, at the beginning of the season last year, I believe, he ended up with it being around 100,000K stubs, and I think he might get close to that again. I think he goes up and ends up being like a 75,000, 80,000 stub card later on in the season. So investing in him at right now at about 13,000, definitely worth the investment long term. And if you're looking to complete everything, 13,000 right now is super cheap for a guy that's going to be very hard to collect later on in the season. And then the bonus guy I'm telling you to go out and get is going to be Nick Lodolo. Everyone loves him in Diamond Dynasty for how he pitches and the way he pitched and everything. He was a great card, but this year he's actually playing very, very well. Last year he played pretty well too, but this year 17 innings pitched, 2 wins, 27 strikeouts, a 2.12 ERA, and a 1.41 whip, and definitely a better card than 77 on his current overall rating. You saw him jump at the beginning of the season. That was kind of the everyone wanted him type of thing, and then you saw it kind of go down. Well, currently he's at 251. Go and invest in him now. I don't know necessarily if he is ever going to be hitting the diamond mark, but he's definitely going to be hitting gold soon, and I would suggest he's going to be around the 83 mark or even 84 mark. I'm not sure if he hits diamond or not, but at that point, I mean, you're looking around towards like 4,500 stubs. So investing in him at 250 currently, kind of waiting until he goes to 4,000. Again, this is going to be one of those cards you go out and buy 100, 500 of them and set on them until they reach their value at around 4,000 stubs, and then boom, sell them, and you're going to be walking away with 4,000 profit stubs with Nick Lodolo. And then if you went and bought 500 of them, you're going to be rolling in the dough. So definitely go out and invest in him now. I think he does nothing but go up in overall value. So I hope this video was helpful for you for long-term investments. If you have any questions or have anybody that you want to know if it's a good long-term investment, post those down in the comment section and read every single comment on every single video, and I will do my best to answer what I think will happen with whoever you posted. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Also, feel free to hit that red subscribe button, because I do one of these pretty much every week or every other week. I go through investments that I think you should invest in and end up selling later on in the season. Last year, made millions and millions of stubs by just doing this and sharing them with you guys. So make sure you guys hit that red subscribe button so that you don't miss those videos. Until next time, Slacker out.